Hello and welcome back to the railway. In a moment we'll have a look at the Princess Victoria, but firstly we're going to move this EMU back onto the passing loop. This is made up of the motor coach R.56 and the dummy car R.225 and the suburban coach R.223. These were available between 1957 and 1964. So we'll bring her gently to a stop here and then we'll move away with the Princess Victoria. Beautiful looking locomotive. And we've got a rake of blood and custard coaches with a utility van. Just listen to that motor beautifully purring away there as she moves away off into the distance. The Black Princess was a really important model for training. It was available from 1950 to 1963 and underwent many changes over that period. The model we have here today comes from a set I have, the RS1, which comes from around 1960 to 61. When first released, the Black Princess carried the name Elizabeth, but by 1959 it seems to have been renamed to Victoria. After disappearing in 1963, the Black Princess reappeared again 11 years later in 1974 for a short period of time. Just backing off the power a little now as she comes down the incline, carrying all that weight behind her, she does tend to pick up a little speed there. Excellent shot here as she comes past the Britannia, into the curve and under the incline section. All those coaches rattling away as she storms towards us now, passing the EMU and into that third radius curve. Looking excellent. Now up the incline, and I think we'll bring her up to a gentle stop up here and then we'll have a closer look at her. Now we have her off the track, we can have a look in a little more detail. We've got lovely riveting around here and the smoke box door detail is great. We have a screw straight through the footplate here to hold the body onto the chassis. We've got the metal buffers and a tri-ring decoupling here. By the time we got to the Victoria, the chassis had been changed to accept a smoke unit and provision for magnets for the magnesium, although this model was never offered with a smoke unit, but it has had one fitted. It doesn't have magnesium, we'll have a look at that later. We have simplified valve gear, it is fluted, which is quite a nice touch, and we have the name Princess Victoria printed in yellow on a red background. We've got the handrail running right the way along the locomotive. It isn't picked out in any paint at all. There is no paint on this model apart from the nameplate and the buffer beams. We have two brass safety valves on the top here. We've got lovely rivets right the way around the cab side. The lining's almost intact with the number just beginning to rub there with the 8P, running number 46205. Moving along to the tender here, we can see the lining's intact, but looking like it's just showing the effects of age there. Really very pretty. And the totem here is completely intact and we can read British Railways. We've got minimal underframe detail here. We can see the suspension and we can see these open axle boxes with the axles just poking out, so this tender has sleeved wheels. Looking at the other side of the tender here, we can see the lining is complete but showing the effects of age just like the other side. And on the back of the tender we've got what must be steps or grab handles, lamp irons, metal buffers, a red buffer beam and a decoupling there. We have a water filler and the coal load looks quite fine, it is removable. And again we can see those open axle boxes and the axles just poking through there. Looking at the other cab side here, the lining's in a little better condition and not so much rubbing on the numbers there. Moving along the locomotive we can see we have extra detail as well as the handrail. There's some additional pipe work running through here. Moving back around to the front here we can see this lovely simple valve gear. We've got plastic wheels on the front bogie and metal steps. And looking from above here, there is minimal detail on the roof of the cab here. Looking on the inner side of the tender here, we can see the pin which goes into the drawbar on the locomotive there. And we've got some nice detail here where the coal would be shovelled out. And we've got some doors and handles of some sort there. We've got some minimal in-cab detail there, and we can just see there the two metal tabs that hold the chassis to the body there. The plastic wheels on the front bogie are on single metal axles and they spin together. Single screw holding the bogie to the main part of the body. And then moving on to these drive wheels. Now they're not see-through. This Black Princess never did get see-through wheels or steel tyres. We can see the pickup wipers there. And then moving to the rear truck, we've got sleeved wheels on a single axle. Here we have two princesses together. This is the Victoria that we've been looking at, and this is a Princess Elizabeth from around 1958, I think. Just look at the difference in the wheels. This Victoria has these huge driving wheels. They almost touch together here. Look at these on the earlier Elizabeth. They're much, much smaller. Also, the nameplate here on the Victoria is painted red with printed yellow type. And here on the Elizabeth, it's embossed into the plastic work and just painted red afterwards. I've loosened this screw, so we'll just take that out and have a quick look inside. Here we go. We can see that the smoke unit has been fitted. These were available separately as model number R.50. The Victoria was never offered with smoke. We can see the wiring here has been altered and it's been disconnected at some point. The smoke unit does work. And here we have these very large drive wheels, and they're not see-through as we said earlier. And the chassis, this single block chassis, has provision for traction magnets. We can just see the gap behind the wheels here. If I lift that up, maybe we can have a little closer look at that. You can just see the gap behind the wheel there where a traction magnet could be fitted, and also one there. And if we put a little current onto the smoke unit, we'll see when it warms up, it'll spring into life. And just give it a second, and then we see smoke beginning to emerge. And as ever, it's quite a nice effect, but very difficult to get this to run whilst you're running the locomotive at any type of sensible speed. I think that's probably enough of that. Here we've got Triumph's name, the model number R.50, made in England. We have the hole where the screw secures the body to the chassis, and back here we've got that slot where we saw those two metal pegs from the chassis, so that helps hold the body on. And this box contains one of the smoke units that could be bought separately, R.50 smoke unit. So we'll just have a quick look at that. I'll open it up and see if we can take out the contents. So here we have the smoke unit, and it's still in its original cellophane. So we can see the smoking tube there with its wire, and there's a funnel, and there's a tube of smoke oil. And if we look closely, we can just see there's a spare smoking pipe there. These got needed replacing from time to time. And looking from the back side here, we can see the spring clip there, which would help secure it to the chassis. Let's just put that down, see if we can pull out the instructions. And there we have Triumph Railways smoke unit R.50. And there we go, it's a Sooth unit. Now I know I always mispronounce this, there is a German pronunciation for this, but I think I'll leave that for others to work on. There we go, it covers the fitting of the unit. And in the catalogues they gave a whole list of locomotives that this could be fitted to. I think we should have a look at the coaches now. First in the rake is the Maroon Utility van, and this was model number R227, available 1958 to 1961, has a running number of S2357S, and it has 3 sets of opening doors down both sides. They're a little fiddly to get open, but they do open. We'll just open those and have a quick look, and then we'll push those back over again. Now we've got these wonderful windows with the bars on, just on the glazing strip, they're just printed on. Lovely detail all the way along, lots of planking and vents. Second in the rake today is model number R29, the Maroon and Cream or Blood and Custard composite coach. Its running number is R24010. It has a smooth roof with ventilation detail, and it has flat ends. Later models had bowed ends and ribbed roofs, and this was available between 1956 and 1962. Third in the rake today is the restaurant car, model number R224. This was available 1957 to 62, and it's the only one of the rake which has interior detail. It also has curtains printed on the glazing strip. It has some excellent roof detail and has a running number of 2401. Last in the rake today, and just like the other coaches, has a smooth roof and flat ends, model number R.28, the brake coach, was available 1956 to 62, running number 34002. Just before we get this lot running again, let's have a look at page 8 and 9 from the 1960 catalogue, and it shows the 4 main liveries which Triang offered at this time. It also shows the seating units which became available. Now I have all 4 of these liveries on the layout right now, so whilst we have a run around the layout with the Victoria and the Blood and Custard coaches, let's see if we can see the rest of the liveries. Away she goes, the beautiful Princess Victoria, with all those coaches effortlessly up there, and there's no magnesium in this model. This is model number R.50 with tender R.30. Whilst the Black Princess became available in 1950 and remained in the catalogue till 1963, she was first named Elizabeth and then Victoria in 1959. This model I think dates from 1961 onwards, as it has a solid chassis and those big drive wheels which aren't see-through. Later, when she appeared again in 1974, she got see-through wheels and magnesium. Just coming through points 8 there, the crossover, and we'll bring it to a stop there and we'll close those, and then we'll open number 11 and we'll take her gently back into the siding of the station here. So I think the history for the Black Princess is quite complex and goes over many years, and there are lots of documented changes, and it makes interesting reading. And we'll close point 11 there, and there's the Britannia with those chocolate and cream coaches effortlessly through points number 4 there. Tiny bit of a wobble on the brake back there, and we'll close number 4. Another long running model, the Britannia, began life in 1960 and went through to the Hornby Railways period, model number R.259 with tender R.35. Looking excellent in the round layout with those beautiful chocolate and cream coaches off into the distance there and around past the rubber buildings. Now as we come up to the station, we've got all those coach liveries sitting there in the station, the Britannia pulling up nice and gently to a stop. Look at that, all the liveries together. Now I'm going to leave you with page 8 and 9 from the 1961 catalogue, showing all the coaches, and page 4 from the 1959 catalogue, the first year the Victoria became available. Thank you very much for watching. Goodbye now.